Welcome to the Dead Bedroom Revival podcast. My name is Curry, your host, and I am excited to be making this episode because we're going to be talking about something that really fires me up when it's really the ability to change and really evolve as a person. Now, if you find yourself in a sexless relationship, there's part of you that was not able to evolve with the time of the relationship and the circumstance of the relationship. I talk about a thing called the sexual decline. um, I forgot my own framework, the name of the framework. But anyways, it is the mystery of sexual decline. So and really, it just looks at different life events, and usually those life events impact you in a certain way because they always those life events change your environment. Therefore, your environment now requires you to become somebody different in order for you to cope with it. So in terms of like sexual decline, I think you think about it when you started dating. You were a certain person, or in fact, when you started dating, you're a certain person, and then when you move from uh, dating to relationship, uh, there's a few things that would have changed within that. So the company that you keep, the things that you do, behaves. So that means that you had to evolve the way you relate, the way you speak, the certain things that you have to change. And again, if you stayed the same, when you moved in together, again, you take on different responsibilities. You still have to communicate different, and most people they do not adapt or change. Therefore, it makes uh, instead of getting closer as you go progress in life, you're almost chipping away at the relationship and you're getting further and further away from each other. So again, becomes one of those very important things within your life to be able to recognize that there is a change or there's a life event, and what are the things that I need to do to change so I can cope in this environment. Because most people they get overwhelmed by it and then they shy away, or they hold on to um, what feels comfortable. And sometimes that ability of being able to embrace what's uncomfortable usually allows you to grow. And then when you grow, it means that you can cope with any changes that have happened within the relationship. So I'm saying this, and hopefully, it's not just something that I'm saying, and then it's actually making sense to you. It's making sense to you in the sense of you can recognize that on these life events, when they've happened, when the child came along, um, when you became moved from being just husband and wife, or just boyfriend and girlfriend, and then you became parents as well. Um, Again, you're required to change. So if you stayed in your comfort zone and just felt like maybe it's there's certain things that would have come up within you and how you've been brought up, and insecurities, and maybe some strengths. And when those insecurities have come up, how have you dealt with them? Have you just sort of shied away and not been able to put yourself out there where it's uncomfortable so you can grow? Or have you sort of backed off? And same thing when you got married and you were in a relationship, maybe especially when you're in a sexless relationship, when it came to your needs, probably you didn't have a good way of really nipping it in the bud just when the sexless relationship started, or even having the awareness of just seeing that something has changed here. How is this affecting me, and what do I need to do to evolve in order to make this not go worse than it is? So when you find yourself in this situation, and again, when I say you lack the ability to change, everyone lacks the ability to change because it requires you to go beyond your comfort zone, and it's not easy. And sometimes even just recognizing that you are in a crisis or in a position where you need to change, sometimes you can't really see it because there's sometimes it feels like you're being bombarded from several different places. So at work it's no good. You're having issues with your boss, or maybe you're having issues with the employee, or you're having issues with the colleague. When you come home, maybe kid is acting up, or your wife is not happy. She's having issues at work. There's certain things that will happen in life, and you feel like you're being bombarded from everywhere. And sometimes you miss out on what's really important. And I was speaking to somebody recently, and I was talking about them journaling, and they're saying, "Oh, I don't really have time to be journaling, and why is it that important?" I said, "Journaling is like that one domino that knocks off every other domino, and again, this is where how I start discovering how much I'm changing and how much I'm adapting situations. So hopefully that's a nugget for you guys to actually start considering. Like journaling is one of the most uh, therapeutic thing for me. But at the same time, when I look back at what I wrote 2 weeks ago, a week ago, a month ago, I can see there's some progression. And sometimes I can see that if there's an issue that I'm talking about consistently, then I can then look back and see what have I done to try and change this. If there's nothing I've not done to change this, how is that affected my relationship? And always has an effect on the relationship. So I think there's this sort of passive way of people. They look at relationship and just hope that it just um, magically happens, like almost osmosis type scenario. Like I'm just going to do, I'm just going to absorb and just allow things to happen as they happen. But there is a part of you that has to be definitely taking an active role in looking at different scenarios and how those scenarios are affecting your relationship, especially when it comes to life changing things like having a baby, moving into a new house, moving into a new state, changing jobs. All of those things that have a effect to how you live in your relationship. And again, if you've not been able to adapt and change and put yourself in uncomfortable situations in order to really get and maximize your growth, it makes it so much harder for the relationship. And therefore, if you find yourself in a sexless relationship, I can guarantee you can link it back to several shifts within your relationship, and you fail to adapt. And again, when you can adapt, this is what leaders do. They have the foresight to see what this action that you're doing right now and the reaction it will bring when you so for instance, if you allow it to happen, so if there's certain actions that are happening, you can actually see in the future how it can impact your relationship. So again, you being having that ability to do that and communicate it, and sometimes you don't even have to know the actual outcome or the answer or the answers to everything, but it's the ability to just call it the way it is. Like the way we're acting right now, it doesn't benefit us in the future. How can we work this together so we can actually have a better result? And the better result is us actually getting closer. Because I guess most most of the time when you call things out, sometimes again it's a lot of leadership skills that you need to be able to communicate without the other person feeling like you're overpowering them. I think that's the reason why when I speak to people when they say we have had the conversation but it ended up in an argument, it's because you've just uh, it's now you've allowed things to go wrong for a long period of time. So when it now comes to trying to resolve it, it's a much steeper task to doing it. And again, this is one of those things that is important that has never been taught. That you need to have almost like a schedule for relationship maintenance, and this is very important. Like just think about it, just relationship maintenance. It could be weekly, it could be even every half week, every 3 days, you've got to spot check what is going on, how what's changed, you know, almost checking the pulse of your relationship. And this is very, very, very important. So I'm not going to go any more with this, but it's really, really, really important to really see how you can adapt. And again, with every situation, you can look at it from through the lens of a caterpillar. You know, it goes through a process where it's feeding, gets into a cocoon, becomes a butterfly. And if you look at it from that perspective, like with this scenario, where am I? Am I the cocoon, or am I um, enjoying, this part of the relationship, or is this process that we're in right now? Is it us being caterpillars, or I mean, in a cocoon? There's a bit of struggle, there's a bit of stress, there's a bit of anxiety. What is causing that? And then how do we come out of this so we can become the butterfly? So if you look at it that way, you can find that it might actually start getting your mind to start scanning around and seeing where is it that we are lacking within the relationship, and then what can we do to evolve so that we can become better within that relationship. So very excited to have made this episode, and looking forward to making more and more episodes. Like I said, the sound quality hopefully will be getting better soon. If you want to learn more, go to www.deadbedroomrevival.com and we'll be able to give you some trainings, a Facebook group link, so you can get more trainings in person and in video. So thank you very much for listening. I'll be seeing you soon. Take care.